What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party.
Peace of love. This is Talib Kweli, the BKMC, the MCEO, the Little Lebowski Urban Achiever, the Gentleman Savage. I got my homegirl, Jasmin Leigh, in the house. What's up, Jasmin?
What's up?
Give it up for Jasmin Leigh, the lovely and talented, always offering great laughs and great commentary. How
and
you
great
feeling, Jazz?
smiles.
Great
I'm
smiles.
amazing.
Speaking of great smiles, today's guest has a great smile. Today's guest, I don't think that I can overstate how important she is to the culture. I don't think I can overstate her contributions to the culture, how she has inspired not just artists, but fans. What this person has done for me as an artist has been fantastic. I've had the pleasure of working with her. Ever since she first dropped in the game, she's been on fire, from Return of the B-Girl to Thank Her Now to She Got Game to Eyes Are Beautiful to Layla's Wisdom to Crown to Eve. This person is one of the first people that was on our list of people we wanted to get for this show because I feel like she really represents what People's Party is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rapsody.
Yeah.
Rap Diddy.
Black girl magic, baby.
There we go.
What's up, man?
Oh, you look so cool. I love it.
Thank you. I like to be cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
That is hip-hop.
what does it say?
Cool.
Fuck it.
This is Jamel Hill's
Fuck it, I'm bothered.
Straight Like That, her
Yes.
podcast.
Right, I did her
just left it.
podcast the same day that she did my podcast.
Oh.
So when you watch Jamel Hill on People's Party, that conversation happened an hour after I was on her podcast.
See, that's ill. So y'all got to interview each other.
Yeah.
That's cold.
You know, Jamel is like a superhero.
Super, for real.
Yeah, shout out to Jamel Hill.
Shout out to her.
But we have Rapsody in the house.
Yes. And you have an amazing voice, by the way.
In what way?
Just how you're talking.
Oh,
my
thank
gosh,
you.
guys. Just, you know.
Thank you. Just rain it on me. No, thank you.
Now,
My voice has changed. It always wasn't so nice. It used to be mad high pitched.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you heard them earlier mixtapes.
Them early mixtapes here that I just named. You were doing, it's interesting to hear how you developed stylistically. You play around, like you're known as a lyricist and you focus on lyrics. But I think one of the biggest appeals of you is you playing around with your voice and trying different things and not being scared.
No, I'm not scared of nothing.
Yeah, we had Game on and he was talking about how the difference with him and 50, how he compared 50 to like a Roddy Ricch of today. He said that they're ill with the melodies. And you have lyrics about having conversation with God and God saying, find the melody, you know, and Game talked about how he's not that type. He's like, I just write and I rap, but I have respect for artists who can find the pockets and find the melodies. And I feel like over your career, you strive to do that.
Yeah, my thing is I always want to grow and learn, you know, like I know I've, for the most part, mastered lyricism, you know, in my way. So where can I go next? Because I never want to put out a project and people know what's coming next. You know what I'm saying? Like I never want them to know what to expect. So it's just like, how can I grow? Like, you know, melody, inflection, using your voice as an instrument, you know, every project is like, what can I do different?
Right.
I don't know. It's like I want to tackle singing, but I need that little tune on it.
The auto tone.
But yeah, I need a little tune on it. But
People
yeah,
sleep on the auto tune because of T-Pain and others, but it's a very useful tool.
It is. You
Man,
just gotta
shout
know
out to
how to
T-Pain.
use it.
Yeah, like T-Pain.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Just always trying. You know, it's fun to be creative and try new things for me. Like that's how I compete with myself.
Right.
You know, so I'm always trying to compete myself. Like, how can you be better than the last one? It just can't be beats and raps. You know, it can, but you know.
Yeah, there's an audience for that.
Yeah, there's an audience for that, but you know, how do you elevate yourself? Like, how does it become challenging? Because other than that, it's just like, this is too easy.
Yeah.
Like, challenge me.
That's right.
So
You run towards the challenge.
all the time.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of nothing.
Never scared.
Yeah, and I don't like for people to box me in either. They love to box me in, you know, to think I can only do one thing, that I only like to rap over one beat. So especially with Eve, I got to, you know, like Serena and Oprah, like, you know, just experiment, and I want to continue to experiment.
As a DJ, you know, I was you know, do dance mixes depending on the crowd.
Right.
I DJ'd a party in North Carolina where I got a lot of Rhapsody records off, but Pay Up was a record that I played a lot. And Oprah that fits in the mix. Speaking of North Carolina, shout out to J. Cole.
Yes.
He is an artist that has mentioned me twice on his records. There's another artist that's mentioned me twice. That's you. You mentioned me, and Most, you said Bonded, like Most at Kweli, and then on Sparkling.
Wow,
you
you
said
went
Blast,
back on that one.
like Kweli.
Like the Blast, yeah.
He knows every lyric.
No, I mean, I know the rappers that rap about me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for sure. That's why we put it in there. I want you to know.
I appreciate it.
So yeah, I mean, you're one of the reasons I do what I do. Like, you talk about people that influence me and my style and why I love hip hop. I talk about Jay-Z, but it's also you. It's Most Def. It's Common. Because one of what you mean to the culture and what you give it and what you talk about. You know, you taught me the power of the microphone and how to use our lyrics to talk about what's going on within our culture, but your skill level too. So there are many a days, like, even to sit here and have this conversation, I put you so far above the totem pole. I just remember riding around to your music so much, and I'm just like, yo, this dude is like one of the greatest ever. Like,
I appreciate
you know the
you,
Jay-Z lyric.
Yeah.
Lyrically, I want to be Talib Kweli. Like, you know, so that was like, you were one of the artists that I always strive to reach above. And that's who I put myself against, where if I ain't as good as Kweli and Jay and Most, and what am I doing it for? So, yeah.
I mean, you also rap about how you the rapper that rappers don't want to rap after.
Nah, they don't want to do that.
You know, I was, you know, I did that once on the Indy 500 project.
Yep.
But I rapped before you on the other song on the Every Ghetto. On Life Ahead of Me, I went after you. But it's both daunting tasks, both of them. Both of them. Snowhill, North Carolina. Population around 1,600 people.
Something like that.
Wow.
There are buildings in New York City that have 1,600 people.
people. High schools that have
Right.
1,600 people.
My high school had 5,000 students, Brooklyn Tech.
Yo,
So that's like three
of
Snowhill, North Carolinas.
for real.
Talk to me about growing up in such a small town and what lessons you carry over from the small town that might help you in the music business.
Man, patience is one of them. I went and got my nails done last night. She was like, "You ain't from here, are you?" I was like, "No." She was like, "You're very patient." You know, patience is one thing. Everything is slow pace and you know, mellow community. That's the biggest thing.
Wow,
I think I learned about community and family. When you come from a place that only has 1,600 people, you go to school with the same people from kindergarten to your 12th grade year. You learn how important community is. And, you know, just showing up for your people and representing your family, because there's nowhere that you can go that nobody don't know you. Two, I think how to step away and to be by yourself sometimes, you know, and in Snowhill, it's real quiet and peaceful at times. And it's just like, you know, I'll go and I'll be in the rat race, but I also know how to step away, you know, and, you know, just to live a slow pace, mellow life where I feel like I don't always have to be keeping up or in a rat race sometimes. Like, I appreciate that. I appreciate living in North Carolina because, you know, it's just a place where I could just really chill and mellow down. You know what I mean? I think those are the biggest things for me. Everything else, I felt like I was a city girl at heart.
Right.
You know, I'm just like, I can't live here. Like, how do y'all graduate and stay here? I can't do this. Like, I just saw so much bigger from me.
Now you come from a big family, speaking of community. Jehovah's
Huge.
Witness.
Yeah, I grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you say, I think it was on the Breakfast Club, that you were one of 150 grandchildren.
Yeah.
From Layla.
Yeah, from my mom's parents.
You named the album after.
Yes.
What's that like, being part of 150 grandchildren?
Man, it was beautiful. I don't think I would trade that for anything, because we were so close. All your cousins are like your sisters and brothers, you know, all my aunts, you know, are like family. So there was never a dull moment. I would say that. Like, you know, there was always somebody getting in trouble, you know, us sneaking around. Like, it just made things fun, but it also taught me the importance of family. Like, you know, my grandparents are very, very strong about family and making sure that you show up for them. No matter what, family comes first. So, you know, that allowed me to humble myself. Even, I think, you know, when I got in the business, especially with women in hip hop, I come from that, you know, so I compete healthy, but at the same time, I want these women in hip hop to look like my sisters.
That's right.
Because that's how I grew up. Like, you know, my mom and my aunts were the perfect examples of that. Me and all my girl cousins, you know, we're really tight, and, you know, there's never any jealousy, never any shade. So coming into to hip hop and it being like real catty, I was like, I don't know how to even relate to that because that ain't even, that ain't even my energy and how I grew up. So, that's the biggest thing. It taught me, to be humble, to be loving, to show love. So that's what it was. And it taught me that one thing I think I have to balance that I probably got too much is I don't put myself first all the time because I would put so many people before me. And that's I'm not going to call it negative, but that's a thing that I probably need to pull back some and just find a balance in that. But
I understand that.
Yeah, especially being like next to last in the family of 5 siblings, and I was the youngest girl grandchild for a long time. So, I had to learn to stay out of the older kids' business a lot, so I'm just so used to being at the bottom or the back end where it's just like I was never at the forefront, so I'm just cool with just laying back. I never have to feel like I gotta be loud and put myself first and just like, all right, there's too many of y'all to be trying to compete with for grandma and granddaddy's attention, so I'm just chilling, so that has carried over to music too.
Now, speaking about the music, I've heard you, I think also again on the Breakfast Club, shout out Jay-Z and Lauryn as equally your favorite MCs. And I hear their style in you, but I've also heard and read you talk a lot about MC Lyte, in particular the Poor Georgie song and video as being heavily influential on you wanting to rap. What was it about that song and that video in particular?
I think I was at such a young age. MC Lyte was the first female that I saw rap. Like I know, Roxanne, Shantae, and so many came after her, but she was the first one that I saw. So that got me off gate. It was just like, yo, a woman doing it. And the way she was dressed, it was just fly and it was tomboy. And it was like, yo, that's fly. And she told this ill story. And, that made me fall in love with storytelling. Like to use music to tell this story, to talk about, I want to say that song was about he had cheated on his girlfriend. And he got a disease. And then he got in a car accident from drinking and driving.
He was fucked up.
It was
Georgie was having problems.
You know what I'm saying? The story was so heart-wrenching, right? Poor Georgie. The poor Georgie. So that's what gravitated me, like all of those things in one. I was just mesmerized. I just remember hearing on the radio. I would watch the video over and over again. I was like, I got to be a part of it.
Now you rapped later about getting advice from MC Lyte and saying you remember. What did she tell you?
The one thing that she told me, I met her at a Black Girls Rock event. I asked her if there was any advice you should give me, and she said, "Just keep doing what you're doing." Okay, that was it. She was like, "You know what you're doing." I was like, "All right." I love
your light impersonation. You went into the voice and everything.
Just keep doing. It was Lauryn probably gave me the best advice. Though.
What was that?
It was that same event. She told me to always seek knowledge, to never stop learning, and the next thing she told me was to touch every part of your show. If you have a band, touch every single part of it. And you ask advice a lot, and a lot of people tell you work hard, keep doing what you're doing, but to have those two very specific pieces of advice have helped me more than anything that anybody's ever told me, because it was something that I could take and actually apply to something where it made me feel like, oh, you were watching my performance backstage and you really giving me sound advice to up my show. And my show has gotten so much better since that. It was something I went home and I went on YouTube and I watched shows and I watched her and how involved she is in everything she does. Because I used to be timid, like, I don't know a lot about a band, but I made myself learn, and be a part of the process of what that sounds like, how I envisioned it. I started reading more, whether it was books or articles, just like, the more I know, the more I'll be able to talk about, the larger my vocabulary will be when I do music. So, those were probably the best two things that anybody's ever told me.
And I think you pay it forward all the time. On the Return of the B-Girl album, the intro, I think you made a very interesting decision. You essentially did an outro as your intro.
Yeah.
And you had the verse and everything, but you spent a few minutes shouting out every female MC that you could think of. And you brought up names of people that I work with that I don't hear getting shouted out. Like Ty Phoenix.
Yeah.
Invincible. You know, people like that. Of course, Gene, and of course other people that I work with. This, I mean, what made you want to start that album with that?
Man, because I knew that the B girl in that time that had came out in a mainstream view was non-existent. You know, what happened to the around the way girl, the B girl that just came in spitting, you know what I mean? So it was my way to show that, yo, it's not only Return of B Girl is in Welcome Rhapsody, but, you know, there's so many other women that are in this community that I wanted to showcase and tell you with this project, I'm representing for all of us.
No
and I'm
doubt.
bringing us all with me. And two, just to show homage. You know, it was important for me to come in first and show homage. Like that was my way to thank so many women that influenced me for even allowing me to be in this space, you know, to plant that seed in me, you know, to show that it could be done. They, you know, they opened the door and gave me a space for hip hop. So one thing is just like, you got to come in and bow down first and foremost, and then show love to your peers. You know what I mean? Because we were so underrepresented, to me, I knew like the only way we're going to change the climate of things if we do it together. So I got to come in, not busting at y'all heads, but showing love, you know.
That's love. Now that cover was also a tribute to Star Wars. And
where my man with the Star Wars shirt on?
Steve director had a Star Wars shirt, and I feel like he wore that on purpose.
For you,
Wore
right?
that for me?
Yeah, because we talked about. I was talking about, you know, going to the studio in North Carolina to sit with Ninth Wonder and the Soul Council, and I mean, y'all really love Star Wars.
It's 1,600 people. What else? This?
You know,
We do.
You
Knife,
make records about being a Jedi.
yeah.
You know,
Knife is the biggest fan, of course.
ask Knife if Return of the Jedi is better than Knife. Where's the camera?
He said it. He Empire Strikes Back.
That's
he
the
said
one.
that. He
That's the
said
one.
that. For me, it's Return to Jedi.
Okay. For you, it's subjective.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like poor Georgie. You probably wouldn't say that's MC Lyte's best song.
No, mine is Stop, Look, Listen, or Paper Thin.
Ooh, Paper Thin.
Yeah, Paper Thin is the one for the club. That's the dance one. That's the one I can DJ.
Indeed.
But Stop, Look, Listen is,
That's
want to
it.
battle me now? That's strange behavior.
Come on.
Drink and drive. Yeah, you probably savor. Because when I get, you never catch slack. I feel like a kick me
What?
sign was pinned to your back. Because I'm the super duper with the roper doper. Got your clean drawers on? Yeah, I hope you do. Because I'm going to strip you of your peace of mind. Now your peace is mine. Damn, that's unkind. Come on, admit it. The light is too fly. The rhymes that I say, you can't deny. Because 100% is what I give it. I haunt the house with the hip hop spirit. I tear it, prepare it like a hand me down, make you wear it. Save all your crocodile tears, grin and bear it. And with all your other brothers, you gon' share it. You hear me, Junior? Cause soon you be a grown man with the mic in your hand and understand bite is not part of the plan. That's wrong. Thought I told you better than that. But that's what you get from a stabber in the back.
Hey.
Light your neck from the show.
You need to
Well,
do
you
some
like
kind
a
of
diverse encyclopedia.
No, I'm just an
Yes,
MC Lyte
he
fan.
is.
know
He
what
needs to be on a
You know what I
show.
hate? When people be rapping verses, I can't rap along.
Right? You just sitting there like double
She giving me mad rap hands.
Yeah, Quad, get it.
No doubt.
You need to do
That's
something
a
with
hard
that
one.
talent, for real.
I do. I rap.
No, not the rapping.
I rap
Not
for a
the
living.
rapping.
I do hip hop for a living.
I'm so weak.
I mean the fact that you know lyrics like at the drop of a
At the
pen.
drop of
like,
a
Yeah, I'm gonna
dime.
take LL Cool J's job, hip hop karaoke.
Oh yeah. Sorry, LO.
Shout out to LL. MC Lyte was on Self Destruction,
Yes,
super pro black record.
right.
You are unapologetically, staunchly pro black
Oh, to the core.
to the core. At the same time as you being so pro black, you have a phrase, culture over everything.
Yes.
And in hip hop culture, it's not just black people. Obviously, it started with black and brown people, and anyone in the culture has to recognize that, right?
Black and brown, disfranchised and poor.
That's right. Everybody in the culture has to recognize that. Explain for people who might not know, people who might get offended, certainly Kweli fans, by the phrase pro-black, how pro-blackness fits into a hip hop culture over everything mind frame, and why that's not anti-white.
Oh, it's not anti-white because it's about loving yourself and your culture. Loving yourself does not mean we hate you, you know, especially in a country where we're taught to not love ourselves, how we look, that try to strip us of our culture, our religion, so much of who we are. It's important for us to, you know, to remind ourselves, yeah, I'm me. I love me. Everything that you show and depict of me is false. And I'm, you know, and I'm always going to put this on my chest for first and foremost. So that's why it's important, because, you know, the white people, they have love everywhere. You know, they know they're good. You know, they're not continually fed negative stereotypes and images and stories about themselves. So that's why this pro-black is for us. You know, it's ours. You know, just to get ownership back of what was stripped away and what's always trying to be turned into a false narrative of who we are.
That's
like
right.
That's us. That's our culture, and that's what's beautiful about it. You know?
Now, as an MC, I have a lot of songs, and because I have a lot of songs, I don't remember all of them. Questlove, I know. Questlove said that Black Thought could keep 20 songs in his head at a clip. I figure that's a fair number.
Yeah.
Hard to Choose. Is that a song that you know the lyrics to?
Some days.
Okay.
It depends on the day. You know, some days it joint clicking. Other days
I feel that.
I can't remember past the second bar.
I feel that. I have the lyrics here, and I'm not going to read them because I'm going to fuck up the flow. Okay. But, you know, you say I'm so pro-black in that song, and then later on in that song, you know, you say, welcome to my side. When you look in the crowd, the minority's never white. Right. I appreciate y'all, but if I'm lying if it don't bite, because I love all races, but we got to raise them, because I know the scale's tipped. Ain't in no black girl's favor. Hey y'all, we outcast. These black girls favor the blonde Barbie and scars. We all gotta save them. No love lost for whites, Latinos, and the Asians. Loyalty to all. But when I look at these black girls' faces, I understand why I choose to be better, not basic. So it's not hard to choose. And this is my favorite part. Yeah, so excuse if I don't care if the hipsters relate.
Right.
If it weren't for y'all, if it weren't for you at all, why these songs I'm fucking the lyrics up. That's what I said I didn't want to do. It wasn't for you at all while these songs were made. That's so important as a lyric to me as a black artist.
Right.
You had a very close working relationship with Mac Miller.
Very, yes.
Shout out to Mac Miller. Rest in peace to Mac Miller. I have a couple of songs with him. He called me and found me and sought me out to work with him.
That's Mac.
That's the type of artist that he was.
Yes, every legend he sought out.
That's right.
DJ Premier, didn't matter. He came in and respected the culture and what it was.
That's
and made sure he did it the right way.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he also spoke up. One of the rare MCs, rare white MCs to speak openly about black issues. He openly supported Black Lives Matter. He openly just talked about those things, and he would work with artists like me and you. Yearn and Strive. He took you on tour.
Right. At the first time meeting me. Nobody knew, like, I think I had maybe one mixtape out. Didn't know me from Adam. It was just like, I like you, I like your music, I want to help you, come on tour with me. Straight like that. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm one of many artists that he's done that for. And it just speaks to his character. And, you know, at the end of the day, he didn't come in the culture feeling like he was owed anything or that, you know, I can be here because I want to be. He's like, no, I understand this culture and who created this culture and where it started. And, you know, some people say white people are guests in hip hop. He entered it like he was that. Right. You know, so, and he did it the right way. You know, it was just respectful. And that's why, you know, he was loved as much as he was. You know, he just did it. He just did it right.
That's right.
What did Mac's passing mean to you, and what do you think hip hop lost?
Man, it was devastating. Because you just, outside of the talent that he was, the person that he was, like he was a light and a joy. It didn't matter, even if he was going through dark days, he always shone light on somebody else. He was always laughing. I remember on tour, you know, it could be the worst situation ever, and he would always come in and try to turn it around with laughter. Like, you know, that's what he was about, love. And at the end of the day, that's what humans are put here to do, love. And he embodied that to the core. Like, I don't know too many better examples of that. So, you know, the world, the hip hop community, I mean, you just lost a light and a good person that was here to spread love and change people in that way. And, you know, get them to remember that, you know, we all should be connected at the end of the day, fundamentally by love.
Shout out to Mac
Love is
Miller.
religion.
Yeah,
No doubt.
Indeed.
You also had the honor and the pleasure of working with Nipsey.
Yeah.
Explain how you linked up with Nipsey and how that song came to be.
Man, we did a song called "You Should Know" with Absol. I think that was on She Got Game. And I had been wanting to work with Nip a long time. But we actually did that out in LA at 1500 or Nothing Studio.
Shout out to Mars.
Yeah, walked in. Nip was in a white tee, like always, some black pants. We played the record for him, and he wrote it on the pad, and he just recorded it. It was just that easy. Like the last time I saw him, I hadn't seen Nip in person. Man, it's probably been like 5 years, and I saw him at the last Grammy brunch in 2019. And we were just connected, and he was like, man, we hadn't done anything since You Should Know. I said, yeah, we got to get back in there and do another one. But Nip was the same way, man. Anything he could do for somebody, I felt like he would do it. He was just a big heart, super supportive. I was at a show when I was on Big Crit's tour. We went Oakland, and I went and dapped fans up, and his cousin was in the audience. He was like, I just want to tell you I'm Nipsey's cousin. He loved you. Like, he's the one that put me on to you. And I was like, wow. Like, I know Nip supported, but I didn't know it was like that,
You out there telling family and spreading the good word.
I mean, you saw it in just what he wanted to do for his community. It was coach over everything for him too. He just called it the marathon. Same thing. But just teaching financial literacy to his people and buying up the block. That's important to have ownership and to own things in our own community, so we keep gentrification from happening. Like, he saw the importance of that and trying to get ahead of that. Like, he was a powerhouse, man. Like, again, like, God will rise.
That's
like,
right. The Ninth Wonder is also a powerhouse.
Yes.
You met him, 2004, 2005?
2005.
You were in Cooley High?
Cooley High wasn't Cooley High yet. We were just like an organization.
H2O.
H2O, a bunch of kids just hanging out, trying to figure it out.
Right. Talk to me about meeting Ninth Wonder and, how his leadership has inspired you and helped you.
Man, the day that I met him, I think it just speaks to the person that he was. He had just come off doing the Black Album, Mary J. Blige, Destiny's Child. Like, some people get a run like that. Like, man, you about to go sit with no little kids. I don't know. And, he actually came to us, that for one, we were in my friend Tom Fullery's house, just an old white house. You know how college kids live. He came there with him and one other person. It was like 20 or 30 of us, and just talked to us about the business, played minstrel show records, played Genius before Genius came out. And he just was
you put
like...
that out on Blacksmith?
Straight up.
Shout out to Jean Grey?
Yeah, she was on Blacksmith then. Just to put imagery-wise, you see like pictures of like Jesus sitting around, and it's like everybody want to hear the parable. Like, that's what it was. We were just all sitting around him soaking it in. And ever since I've known him, there have been people that'll come up, they young and they eager, and they just want to learn. He'll talk to you for 2 hours if he has it. So it just showed too, outside of a super producer, an amazingly talented individual, he's also a teacher.
That's right.
And super humble.
Literally
and
a teacher.
Literally a teacher.
Right.
So that was my first experience meeting him, just very down to earth. As horrid as I thought my first song was, he saw star power. He saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself that early on. And to be patient enough and want to take me under his wing and have artist development just shows how much he just cared, about people and just living their dreams, and anything he could do to help you. Even if it was a word, he would do it. He's still like that to this day. So that was my experience meeting him. His leadership, man, you hear the saying, a leader doesn't walk in front, they walk behind or beside. Some people say that's what he was. So I just watched how he led, and that was by example. If he was up late at night till 4 a.m. working, I would stay till 8 a.m. That's what it was. So he definitely led by example. If I'm gonna tell these kids that I've signed to this label to work hard, I'm gonna show y'all what hard work is. He sacrificed everything. He tried everything. He never boxed anything in. And his leadership also taught me that you don't have to change who you are. If nobody will give you a seat at the table, make your own table. That's something that he always taught us. So, and relationships, just watching how respected he was in the industry by anybody from the very top to the very bottom. I've watched it all. People bow down at him, that you would think like, oh, this is a super producer, the whole world knows. So it just told me about respect and relationships, and sometimes that means more than anything. Like you can't put a price tag on what that is. So that's just how important his leadership has been to me and in my career. Like, now I feel like I've gained some of that. There's nowhere I don't feel like I can't go. Because I've earned the respect of people. But I knew watching him, I had to do that first before I did anything. Right. So,
on your song Everlasting, you talk about how Knife told you that trends come and go, and to make it about the music and make it everlasting.
Yes.
For me personally, when Pharoah Monch is the one that came up with the idea of doing Indy 500, I had worked with Knife on things here and there before. Him and little brother and them always showed the respect and the reverence for what I did with Most and what we did with Ruckus. But Indy 500, it started when I flew down there, and I experienced something magical. Like to have that studio. What's the name of the studio?
Bright Lady.
Yeah. With the Soul Council. And, I didn't understand what it really was. I thought, I was flying down to do this project that was really about me and him. But when I was down there, Problem was there. And Bad Luck was there.
Bad Luck was there, yeah.
And Slug popped up. And
he did. Slug was there for like a day.
Yeah. And I realized, I said, okay, they're really building something up over here. It really felt magical and spiritual to me. Talk to me about that studio, about what Ninth has built with the Soul Council and just some of the other producers. Is Eric G a part of Soul Council?
Yeah.
Eric G and Crisis and E. Jones.
Knots.
Yeah, man. Talk to me about that.
Man, Bright Lady is like, it's like our safe haven. It's like, we don't call it our studio. It's like our home. You know what I'm saying? We got the living room area, which is like our Cosby couch. We sit and we just have conversation. But Knife always wanted a place where it was open door, where he can allow anybody to come and create, and they didn't have to worry about paying for studio time. Like when we create albums, we don't do no sheets, and we don't, we don't write down time or anything. We just work. And Mac Miller would come down a lot because it was a place where he could just come and work. Like, you don't have to worry about this person being in there. And, it's just a safe haven. So, Knife will be on the phone and he might be talking to whoever artist, and they might be stressed out and they might be dealing with the industry. He'll be like, just come down here. You can stay at the studio and get your hotel room. Just come down here. And for him, it was always about creating great energy. So everybody that comes in there, they always talk about the energy.
Yeah, it's great energy.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted. We just wanted a place where people could just come hang out. They ain't got to worry about being bothered. It's like a hiding spot. It's like if I'm about to go have some rehab, it is for your energy. It's like energy rehab for real. And that's the magic of that studio. Styles P, Grant Hill, like a bunch of ball players coming in. They'll have little beats tutorials. But like Grant Hill, Jabari Parker. I don't know. I can't remember everybody. But that's the magic of that studio. It's just a safe place for people to be. The Soul Council, that's Knife's 7 producer production team. So let me make sure I can remember everybody. Okay. So it's Knife, it's Knots, it's Crisis, Eric G, Jones, Cash, and Amp. Yes, that's everybody. Right. I did it. But Knife always had a love and affinity for beat teams, whether it be Hit Boy, whether it be who am I forgetting? Organized Noise, Justice League. So it was something that he wanted to create.
Hitmen in them.
Exactly. So they're basically the sound of Jamla. And what's dope is everybody's different. Knife is known for his soulful beats, his drums. Eric G is the most versatile out of anybody. If you want a trap beat, you can get a trap beat. If you want a pop beat, get a pop beat. If you want boom bap, he can do it all. Amp is like Baby Primo, let me see, E. Jones, he get the lush beats.
Lush. Me and E. Jones got a few love songs together.
That's what he like.
Yeah.
He like the R&B guy. He like to make those records. Crisis, Crisis is
some of my hardest records are for Crisis.
Yeah, Crisis. Yeah. Anything that you want to break your neck off of, you go to Crisis. Like he's known for this crazy neck bop he got. Cash is real soulful sounds. This is what he likes. So it's just like, our beat factory where you can go to any one of us and get what you need at the end of the day. And they've just become the sound of Jamla. So, that's what it is. And it's dope to be able to have some of the best beat makers at your disposal.
Right.
Like I could call Eric G and be like, yo, I need this, and he'll send me 30 beats.
Wow.
Like that is amazing. I mean, I can't imagine some of these other artists that got to fly to all these producers. Like, not to say we don't, work with other people, but to have it all in house, I be eating. I'm trying to tell you.
At the crib too?
I'm a beat at the crib too. Eric G actually moved to LA. So, but that's cool.
But I'm sure he still got to get to Bright Lady.
Man, he might come like twice a year, man. But he's good.
I'm not a rapper. I know I told you I was earlier, but it was a lie.
I thought you was going to bust some bars.
Oh, no.
She knows all the words to Little Kim,
Crush
Lady
on You.
Marmalade. Lady Marmalade.
It was Crush on You.
I know you did Lady Marmalade.
I did Lady Marmalade for karaoke,
because
and
you know
then
all the words.
Jeez, Talib, I'm just trying to do my job here. But no, I was wondering, like, how important is it with to have a good relationship with the engineer to a rapper's career?
We don't have like a set engineer. Like a lot of times if I was recording, Knife would record me a Crisis. Then it got to the point I recorded myself. So
I've seen you record yourself.
Yeah, for us, it was always learn everything except producer to DJing, which I've been kicked off of, but multiple times. But so in 2009 when Knife signed me, I would sit at the board beside him and watch everything he did and ask like, what that do? What does that do? How do you do this? If there was no engineer around, I would FaceTime Crisis. All right, tell me how to do this. What I got to put aux on this and bus on this, because I didn't want to ever be in a situation where I couldn't do music because
that speaks to
somebody.
Your output.
Yeah,
I can tell now that you're saying that because you have so much output. I'm seeing it now. Like, fuck it, I gotta record.
Straight. That's how I'm with everything. Like, if something can't get done, I can do it myself. I will figure it out. So it's the same with engineering, but I think it is important too to still have a set engineer that kind of knows your sound. You know what I mean? Like,
well, y'all do have a great relationship with Young Guru.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was thinking of engineering.
I was just about to ask you about that.
I wasn't even thinking of mixing yet.
Yeah, but no, there's engineers that you record with. Yes. And then you take it a lot of times to a different engineer to mix. Right. And his relationship with you goes way beyond the studio.
Way beyond. Yeah, that's big bro. Like him and Knife are like the same person for me. Yeah.
They're just the same height.
They are. They both skinny and tall.
Right. But your relationship with him led to your relationship with Rock Nation, right?
No.
Oh, well, give us the skinny.
It wasn't Guru.
Okay.
Not to say Guru never played my records for Jay. Guru.
For the people listening, this Young Guru worked with Jay-Z. Jay-Z shouted him out famously on big records, but he also has
turn me up.
Right, he has a great record with Knife Wonder. Great relationship with Knife Wonder, and has been very involved in Jamla stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's on our team. But yeah, Goo has been down since day one. Like him and Knife are best friends. So when Knife told him he was creating a label, he was like, whatever you need from me, like has mixed like some of my projects for free. Like you know how much Guru costs.
I do.
He
didn't mix my project for free.
I knew that was coming. I knew that I got the family
Guru because it was worth it.
Yeah, but he knew in the early days they had no money.
Guru gave me. I'm being facetious. He gave me the homie price. But with y'all, it's a family.
Yeah, it's definitely a family. Like Guru wasn't the plug, and everybody thinks that.
Right.
They had a guy by the name of Spanish Ran who I don't know if. I'm not gonna say he was interning, but maybe a consultant, working with Lenny S. And he presented the idea to Lenny, I think. He was like, yo, y'all really should sign Rhapsody. Like, she would be perfect over here. And I guess, Lenny did his due diligence. He was like, yeah, like set up something. And Spanish Ran sent the email. That's how that happened.
Okay.
Because Goo never forced his hand on anything, and I'm happy that I like when everything happens organically in that way.
That's right. Your relationship with Kendrick happened organically as well.
Yeah, very much so.
You met him. We met Kendrick around the same time because I started working with Kendrick and really trying to get down with what TDE was doing around 2009, 2010. Yeah. The song I have with Kendrick was recorded then. I just held it and didn't release it for 3 years. Right. But talk to me about meeting him and those initial records. You were doing mixtapes together? Yeah.
We met. I got onto Kendrick through Crisis, the Kendrick Lamar EP. And it was like, man, who is this dude? And then Overly Dedicated came out. So he actually came to the studio because he was a big fan of Knife. I think Knife had sent a tweet of all the new young kids that he liked, and Kendrick was in that. And so they kind of developed this relationship over the line, over social media. And at that time, Knife would put out all these beat tapes, and Mac, Kendrick, Ab, everybody that needed beats at the time, you scouring the internet. A lot of those beats were Ninth Wonder beats.
Right.
So, for the kids of that generation, Knife, and me too, he was a big part of us, like trying to figure it out and get music that we can rap over. So he actually came to the studio, of course, to see Ninth and Crisis. But at the studio, we all build. I think that very first day, they stayed for like maybe a day or two. We didn't even do music. We just spent the day talking. He got beats from Ninth. We went to Cookout, got a $5 tray, got him the milkshake. So, it was just really just learning who we are as people. Like, that's how I like to build relationships with artists. It's never about like, yo, let's just go in the studio and work. Like, I want to know who you are as a person. I want to get to know you. So that's kind of like what we did. Then he came down another time for a show he had in North Carolina Central and came to the studio. And I was working on Thank Her Now. I can't remember what project it was, but I think it was Thank Her Now. And I just played the record for him. I was like, yo, what you think? He was like, whatever you need, what we rapping about. And at this time, it's just you trying to gain respect. I was like, man, whatever you want to rap about, ain't got no concept. Just, he's always supportive. Anytime I need advice, I always hit him. Like, Kendrick, like, what did you do when this happened? Or what do you think about this? Because even though, we kind of came up in the early days together, he skyrocketed. He's experienced so much that I haven't. So he's someone I know that I could look to for advice, just to kind of gauge on what I should do. When I do albums, he's one of the people that I'll send the record to. I didn't do that with Ease, but I did play Layla's Wisdom for him because I trust his ear.
Right.
So, you hear like stories of Primo and how he would play records for Dr. Dre, just to get his ear. Kendrick is like in that peer group for me of my peers' ears that I trust. So, that's just always been our relationship, mostly built on music, but I have so much love and respect for him as a person.
As we all do.
Yeah, A1 since day one.
Yeah, he put you on his Grammy award-winning album.
Yes, yes.
You also have a couple Grammy nominations. Layla's Wisdom. I'm in love with this album.
Thank you.
We're very not far away from the holidays. Did you make it clap like Waka Flocka last Christmas?
Not this Christmas. I'll put some bop in it.
DaBaby.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
I was making that thing bop.
Did you see Baby on Saturday Night Live?
I did.
Doing that song?
I did, yeah. He's one of my favorite new, and I'm happy.
Yeah, he's from North Carolina, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
and
the
I'm
crib.
happy. Now everybody that's from there ain't dope. So, I was happy, to champion him.
Right.
But man, he's explosive. When he came out, to me, he has the energy I felt when Get Rich or Die Trying came out. Like, it's that same energy that I feel.
I agree.
Yo, he just came in with a whole different force and it's aggressive, but it's fun at the same time and funny. That's what 50 was.
Right.
50, was talking shit and he was aggressive, but he was funny too.
Right.
Like,
and he was making himself, DaBaby's making himself the people's champ.
Oh,
yes,
he's lovable.
yes.
Very lovable.
Very, very lovable. Now 50.
But 50's a bully. DaBaby's not a bully.
For different reasons, yes.
Let's not even get on that in the Power episodes we've just seen. But I wanted to go back to, you were talking about Jay, and that's one of my favorite rappers, and working under his wing, like, how is that for you? Like, what's like your favorite Jay-Z's story?
And I don't be seeing Jay that much. I told you I still don't have his phone number. But
Are you serious?
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead serious. That's cool
I
though.
work with Jay-Z. I never had his phone number either.
Yeah.
Y'all just
I had a
DM
two-way
each other?
number once.
You shouldn't be able to get the Jay-Z that easy.
Right.
You shouldn't. But probably my two favorite ones. One, I think the last time I saw him in the office, this was before Eves came out. We was talking about basketball or something. But we were leaving and getting on the elevator.
Oh no!
And he just came out of nowhere and air dunked on my head. Like, it ain't nothing like that.
Right.
But he just came out of nowhere and air dunked on my head. I was just like, I didn't expect that from Jay. I was like,
Right.
why you do that to me, bro? You know. I was like, dang, that's what you doing to me. That's probably one, because you know you don't get to see him in a space where he just like having fun
Right.
and chilling all the time. So you know, he was just like Jay. He was riding around the office on a bicycle.
Wow.
And air dunking on heads. Straight up, like for real, like down the hall on a bike. Like, how y'all doing? Riding by. So he was just cool. And you know, I think the other time, maybe there was one time I went to his house. The only time I went to his house. And you know, he just told me that he was proud of me. And when you have a hero like that gets to tell you that means a lot. So that was one. But other than that, you know, I be emailing him. But he's always there to give support and advice. And, you know, he'll hit me out the blue and be like, yo, y'all killing it right now. So, yeah.
That's dope. You have a video that has almost brought me to tears. The Man.
I was about to say it's either the Man or Affinity.
The Man, to me, is important because, I mean, I don't know if I can name a record that speaks to the black male condition that's better than that. You speak, obviously, from a woman's perspective, but I've also heard you speak about why it's important to uplift black men.
Yes, very important.
I've heard you speak about how black men have been in your corner, from a Ninth to a Jay-Z to a Kendrick. How about how black men support your lyrics. And that song is just such a beautiful tribute to us. Now, this album, Eve, which is first of all, can we get a round of applause for Eve?
It's amazing.
Thank y'all.
Love it so much.
I'm paraphrasing, I think, but Rolling Stone called it a masterpiece of feminist hip hop.
I don't like the word feminist.
Oh, I was about to ask you that. I was about to ask, do you consider yourself a feminist?
No.
Okay.
If I don't want to put a label on it, but if I had to, it would be Alice Walker's version, womanist.
Womanist.
Yes,
We
because
speak about womanism on the show a lot.
Yeah, I don't like to exclude men from what I do. In the same way as pro-black is not anti-white, feminist to me has an anti-man tone to it, especially today. So, you know, I like to be able to celebrate women without having to tear down men.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think Alice Walker, like the definition of feminism on paper is just equality for women, but because it was, you know, in the 70s when it gained prominence, run by white women, a lot of times the nuances and the issues in the black community were left out of the feminist discussion. I think that's why Alice Walker and them came up with the womanist thing, which I think for a lot of black women feels a lot more comfortable.
A lot, especially to me.
Yeah.
For that very reason. So.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for being the artist that you are. Like, you go, like we just talked about the Return of the B-Girl. You name every single female MC you could think of. Eve, every song is named after a powerful black woman. You put Roxanne Shante in your videos. You go all out your way, above and beyond, to represent female MCs. But you do it from a place of, we're in this together. And just me as a black man doing this is highly important for me. And I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
The interview you were doing before you did Eve, where the writer, what's the writer's name? I forget. He was playing you, Nina Simone and Roberta Flack.
Lamar Wilson.
Yeah, something like that. But Nina Simone obviously is, you know, I've sampled her a couple of times, you know, and I consider her my musical godmother. Nina Simone and Roberta Flack are both from North Carolina.
Yes.
So the story goes that listening to those songs in that car ride led to the inspiration to do Eve. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was writing the article on the lineage of North Carolina musicians. So it was kind of like a family tree. And he was like, well, you come from the family tree of Nina Simone and Roberta Flack. you know, just because, you know, you're soulful, what you all talk about in your lyrics, you know, and it just making that connection, it was just something that sat with me and I had to really think about. And I got home and I first recorded Aaliyah because I wanted to do a song about a tomboy, and I was like, man, what am I call this song? I don't want to call it Tomboy, that's whack. So I was just like, I'm gonna call it Aaliyah, and then it all clicked. You know, when I think about my lineage, there's so many branches to me, and it was a way too for me to show me as a person, because a lot of times people like to box me in on who they think I am based on the music I make and, you know, the beats that I rap over. You know, I've been in conversations where, you know, we'll be in debates, and, you know, debates turn into, you know, people saying things that they presume about you, and it's been, you know, things like, oh, I bet when y'all go to the party, I ain't think y'all party, I bet y'all go listen to, you know, burn incense and listen to conscious music, and I'm just like, who parties like that?
Nobody.
I just told y'all I'd be backing it up, the Waka Flocka, like, what's up?
No hands, baby.
Like, what you mean? So, you know, it allowed me to creatively do a project that, one, show my lineage of a bunch of different women, two, that show love to these women, three, that introduce the world to these women that may not know them. You know, people are like, I like this song, but who is Whoopi Goldberg? I like this song, but, you know, who is Afeni Shakur? And, you know, it gets to extend their life in the same way that sampling extends lives of 70s artists. But
That's
it
an
also,
interesting concept. You're sampling their legacy for your album.
and it also gave me a way to show that there are so many different sides of me, you know, that people still haven't tapped in and I still haven't shown, you know. You know, when you see these interviews, like, I'm reserved, and, you know, I was talking to my marketing team once, and they was like, if we could write down 10 things, we know what it is, just off listening to the music, like, you're lyrical, you're soulful, you're intelligent, whoop-de-whoop, but there's another goofy side, you know, there's, you know, there might be a little roughneck depending on the day, but you know, it allows you to show, like, there's way more.
You ain't
than
forget
me.
about them shots.
I ain't forgot about them shots. That
They're not ready if you.
That's that
when you time to
Snowhill,
bust back.
like, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I peeped it. I peeped the aggressive, the newish aggressive energy. To me, just being a student of culture, it reminded me, hearing this album reminded me of two specific albums.
Okay.
De La Soul is Dead and Lab Cabin California.
That one I'm not familiar with.
That's Far Side's second album.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now, on De La Soul is Dead, like, the whole thing, De La Soul came out like, look, we just about the culture. You rapped about De La Soul,
Right.
like, let's do it, the stakes aside. They came out like, peace, love, and we love this culture, and we just, and then niggas was testing them. So on De La Soul is Dead, they rapped about fucking niggas up.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, all that De La Soul shit,
Don't get it twisted.
Dead.
Right.
Dead. Far Side came out like, Michael Ross is a genie, he's giving us our wishes, soul flower, you know, pass the pipe, baby, you know what I'm saying, passing me by, all that. Second album, every time I step to a microphone, I put my soul with 2-inch reels that I don't even own. Second album was Running. Second album was just, it was just darker. It was just like, we have some experience. Even Anderson .Paak, the what's the name of the last record? Ventura. Malibu feels like this celebrate, and I love both these records, but Malibu is like this fresh, innocent energy.
It's bright.
It's bright.
Yeah.
Ventura is a little dark.
dark.
It's like, I've seen some shit in this industry. That's what I feel like Eve is. Like, it's a little, it's not, you don't lose your light.
No.
But it's a little bit more like,
Yeah.
okay, some of y'all niggas is not moving, and I need to address this.
Right.
And you've been addressing, you slyly addressed the criticism.
A little here, a
little here. You it's like you mentioned, it's like, you be like, I see what y'all are saying. I see the little comments here, I see the little comments here, but this is what I'm doing.
Right.
You know,
This time it was like, all right, I done had enough at this point.
Yeah.
You done said way too much, and I'm tired of tiptoeing around it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And you own
Like,
in your moment.
Yeah, you gotta check niggas sometimes. You know.
Absolutely.
It's like, all right, I played the nice guy too long. What Badu say, don't get this instance fucked up. What she say? I still got the Colt 45 or something like that. She say like, you know, you could turn that on. You could get the Snowhill if you want to. I be chilling, but you know, it's just time where you got to speak up for yourself. And what I learned is people like aggressive me. Like, you know,
People want you to go out there.
They do. And it's so much I can say. And it's just like, a lot of times it's not that I don't want to say it. I'm afraid. A lot of times it's just like, you don't even deserve my energy, bro. So I ain't going to give it to you. That's what it is. Most of the time, it's just like, I have records where I'm coming at people and it's just like, man, I don't even want to give them that light. Like, you know, because once it's out there, then, you know, they get energy from it, and it ain't worth my energy. But I felt like it was time at this point in time. It's just like, you know, just go. If that's what you're feeling, just go.
Now, we here at the People's Party are a huge fan of your career. And particularly, I was telling you, my man Steve Baramucci, who helps me out a lot.
My homie Steve.
Huge fan, Rapsody.
I love you, Steve.
Uproxx did a great review. Do you have...
I do have the quote.
The quote from the review, Uproxx review?
From Aaron Williams writing on Uproxx. Rather than simply providing an alternative to stripper rap or acting as an avatar for respectable, dressed-up female rappers, she wishes to represent and uplift all women, regardless of their presentation, and act as the vanguard of a generation of MCs who can dress however they want while receiving the respect for their skills without arbitrary standards of respectability. Does that quote... accurately reflect your stand tall for all women?
My whole thing is come as you are and you are enough. You know, it's all about balance for me. I'm not gonna ask you to read it again just to make sure I got the lingo right. But you know, a lot of times people will use me as, you know, you should like Rapsody because she don't dress half naked, and you should like Rapsody because, you know, she shows up how a woman is supposed to be shown, you know. And it's just like, bro, like, you don't even gotta do that. Like, if you like me, then like me, but don't come at, you know, these other women's because they choose to do their art the way they do their art, and they entertain the way they entertain. You know, I say this all the time, we spend too much time talking about what we don't like instead of investing energy in what we do.
That's so true.
You know, if you want to change it, then speak in other ways, with your dollars, with your support, with your tour tickets. If you a DJ, play the record on the radio, you know, call your radio and demand it. Like, you know, demand anything else. So that's what it is, because it's not about me, you know, tearing the next woman down. I think everybody has a story to tell, you know. Megan and Cardi tell the stories that they tell because they live that life, and they should have the space to be honest about. Cardi was a stripper, so she gonna make stripper music. That's honest music. That's conscious music, because that's conscious to what she was doing and the life that she was living. I lived a different life and I experienced different things, so I'm going to talk about them in different ways. So that's what it's about. It's about me just making sure people know that there's room for you in whatever way you want to show up, and you don't have to conform to what you think everybody else is doing to fit in. You know, you don't have to be that, because if you do, you'll be continue to chase that forever and trying to keep up with what's hot next. You can only be as best as you are. You can't be another Cardi, you can't be another Nicki, you can't be another Megan, you can't be another Rapsody. All you could be is you. So that's always my message, is come as you are. You know. And
it's also great that you have that philosophy, because it takes a part of the putting women against each other. Because there's so many male rappers, but whenever there's a female rapper, they're always like, oh, well, this one does this and that one does that. And it's like, who says how women are supposed to dress or act or whatever? You do you.
Exactly. That's what it's about. I was saying that the other day, you don't hear, oh, you should like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole because they don't sound like Young Thug. Like, that is so weak, man. Like, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. You know, there's 7 days in a week, 30, 28, some days in a month, you know what I'm saying? 365 days in a year. It's February, depends on what month it is. You know, so you're going to feel different. Some days you might feel like Cardi. Some days you might feel like Waka Flocka. Some days you might feel like Rapsody. Like, that's all it's about, is catching the energy. If your vibe is, you know, Talib Kweli, 365 days a year, then run that.
It is.
Stream them numbers.
My vibe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not write these think pieces on what we don't like. Like, champion the people you do. Anybody got time for that?
That's right. Somebody I do like that I'm excited about that's on your album is J.I.D.
That's my dude. That's my little brother from another. I love him.
Talk to me about Iman and working on a song with him.
I hate we couldn't work on it together, but the story of how he recorded it is so hilarious to me. But Knife, you know, we were doing the women, and you know, I definitely said I want to have an Iman, you know. And so he finds the Ebony record, and he was like, what you think about this? It's like, Ebony Woman. I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I knew that I wanted J.I.D. on this record. So we sent it to him, and we got Sir on it later when I was trying to think of the hook. But I sent it to him, and he was on tour, probably waited like a month. And I was in L.A., and he FaceTimes me. He's like, rap. He was like, I told you I got you. He was like, by any means necessary. He turns the phone, and it's an ironing board on the floor with the legs crossed and a mic stand, and he was like, see, we getting it. It's real, it's real hip hop.
No
I'm
doubt.
just like, bro, you recording on an ironing board? Like, who does that? You know, but that's J.I.D. Like, it's just dope, like, to see somebody that's newer come up and he looks at me, you know, to look up and always show love to me like he does, because you don't get a lot of guys that do that to women. You know what I mean? Like, I can see him doing that for Kendrick or Cole. So he's always been special to me, just for the person he is, but just to even do that, you know. But yeah, like, when he called me, he was like, yo, he was like, and I'm gonna end my verse with bitch, but I want you to come back and check me on it, yo. So he was like, I think that'd be dope. Yeah. I was like, oh, I see what you're doing. So I checked him on it, and it actually, like, is dope how things just naturally work out, because we had the Queen Latifah record, and I was like, that's
Shout out
the
to
perfect.
Latifah, by the way.
Yeah.
That record is incredible. That verse that she gave you is,
I loved it.
That done bonkers.
people be forgetting that Latifah got them bars.
I don't think we forget.
yeah.
Latifah's had it up to here. She's not taking it no more.
For
Who
real.
you calling a bitch?
Yo,
We don't
she's
say
the
that
one.
word.
That's right. We learned that recently.
we don't
I
say
heard
that
about
word
that
around
combo.
Yeah.
Yo, you gotta walk on eggshells around that one.
Listen,
But yeah.
when you have all these features on your record, do you do like a trade a feature for a feature, or do you pay for features? Like, how does that work?
Well, I did so many in the early days because I was newer. I would get the feature, and Knife would have to trade for the beat because his name had more weight than mine.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about no Rhapsody feature back in the early days. It was like, whatever, give me that Knife Wonder beat. So a lot of times that's how I would go. If I got a feature, it was either for love or Knife would send them in the pack.
Is it true that you got first dibs on them Knife Wonder beats?
I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna tell you. I didn't get first dibs. This is what it is. I am a studio rat, so I would bring suitcases to the studio and sleep on the couch. Knife eventually got me a shower. Not me, but he got us. But I'm gonna just say it's me. So I never have to leave. So I would be there all the time. And if there ain't nobody there and he running beats, I'm like, can I get that? Can I get that? Or a lot of times we listen to the beat and I wait like a half a beat, a second. If nobody don't say nothing, I'm like, can I get that? So that's what it is. The new
closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah, like we got newer artists, Ian and Ruben, and I'd be like, look, I'm gonna tell y'all, when he start running this beat, this is my only gem I'm giving you. You better ask for it, because if I get it first, you short.
The
so
game
a lot
is to be sold, not
yeah,
to be told.
so Ruben catch on quick. Like I'll be like, you there now, so you better speak up. That's what it is.
A jewel I got early in my career from Dream Hampton is to not make music for the ladies. And I didn't really understand it when she said it, but I get it now. What she was pushing back on is the idea that as a rapper, I'm gonna be like, yo, this song is for the club and this one's for the ladies, and it's gonna change the way I approach making music. When she's like, me as a female hip hop fan, I'm attracted to hip hop for the same reasons you are. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I need to hear stuff about women or picking up women or being in a relationship. Like, I like to nod my head to the hard shit just like you do.
That's real.
And that changed the way that I made my music. I caught flack for it because I did an interview about the new Black Star album that we're working on. And I, with Mad Lib.
I need to be a part of that.
Hey, I could play, if you got time, I'll play you some things. But I said in the interview, I was like, we didn't make no songs for the women. Now, that doesn't mean we're not talking about love or relationship at all, but we didn't approach it like, this one's for the ladies. You know what I'm saying?
I love how you say ladies.
That's what happens when you make songs for the women.
Yeah.
You start talking about this is something special for the ladies.
ladies.
You'd be like you turn into
They got put their
Montel Jordan
sexy
like
voice on.
something for the
and all
honeys.
that.
It's something for the honeys.
That's real though.
Yeah, I mean, you're answering my question when you say that's real, but that's what I was about to ask you, how you felt about that.
Yo, completely. Like when I don't go looking for like, all right, where the girl record for me?
Right,
It's like,
right.
nah, like, oh,
Right,
this
where the
joint
hard shit?
knock. Yeah, like me and Misa Hilton had become good friends, and
I seen the work she did on that video too.
oh yeah,
Ooh.
man.
Oh,
No
man.
matter how you create, whether it's in
The
fashion
video
or whatever,
for Oprah, right?
she did Oprah and Ibtihaj.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go watch those videos if you haven't seen them. Mm-hmm. They're incredible. The direction, the art direction, the clothes, the embracement of the embrace of black womanhood. The Oprah video. Is there like one dude in the video? Like just the
Yeah,
homeless dude. That's
the
it.
homeless dude. Yeah, that's
It's
it.
just black women. It's crazy. But keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like we become good friends, and she just tells me stories, and she talked about how much like her and Mary love Wu-Tang.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know how hard Wu-Tang. They make no records for no
Right.
ladies.
You got
like,
Jizzle on the album.
yeah, like that's what women love. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know, why you think they like Lil Kim? Because she was hardcore.
Right.
Like
Yes.
you know, so
She's like female Biggie energy.
exactly. So I mean, that's what it is. Like we just want dope music. Like
I'm
Dream
sorry.
said, like,
Flashback to your Charlemagne interview when he was like, "Yo, when she come on, like when the Lil Kim record comes on, and she starts talking about sucking dicks, you feel away." I'm like, Charlemagne, what are you talking about?
He's always talking
Get
about
back to the
sucking
interview.
dicks.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I forgot about that. That's my dude. Love.
Yeah, shout out to Charlemagne, also a North Carolina dude.
Straight up. No, South Carolina.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Carolinas.
No, I don't love them. No, I'm
We
I'm
separate
playing, I'm
over
playing.
here.
Right.
We cousins.
That's right.
But yeah, that's just what it is. Like, you know, I don't want no. I just want dope music, yo. And we like that joint that knock. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go in and make records like, oh, this is for the fellas.
Right.
You know?
This one's
and
for
I'm
the
a
fellas.
woman, but I gotta rap hard for the
Right.
fellas. Like, nah, I just go rap, bro. And the fellas like it
That's
because
right.
it's dope. So
That's
it's
right.
same thing for females, you know. You see what the women are listening to. They like that thug and all that. You know, that ain't
That's what I think I really like about the energy from like the Oprah video and certain things. It's like y'all, and then like the poem at the end, just the ownership of this is a fucking hip hop record. This is a hip hop record. It's no compromise,
none.
but it's all women, and it's feminine energy, but it's still hard though.
Right.
Don't
A lot of guys love that album. A lot. You know, going into it, I was like, it was just a thought. Like, I wonder how like men are going to be able to, how they going to take it, relate to it. Are they going to even want to check it out? Because is it going to be like, oh, this for women? I think more men listen to it than women some days. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just, they just vibe to it because it's dope.
right.
And that's what I appreciated. Like guys like, yo, I love that Iman record. Yo, Oprah is crazy. Like Affinity. Like
Oh, that video
you know what
was
I mean?
amazing too.
Yeah, like Nina is just like bad. And white guys. I toured with Crit, and you know, a lot of white
Shout out to Big
guys.
Crit too. You mentioned him earlier, and I meant to give him a
Yeah.
shout out. He's one of the greatest working artists right now.
Without a doubt, like a lot of white guys would dap me up and be like, yo, thank you for this record. I have a black girlfriend. It makes me appreciate her more. Thank you for this record. I learned so much about women in this record. And, you know, I get messages. It's like, I know you didn't specifically make this for me, but I love this album.
They
And I
learning.
think that, they
It's like
open
what you
themselves
said.
up.
I'm gonna look up who Maya Angelou is. I'm gonna look up who Afeni Shakur is. I'm learning from this. To take it back a little bit, Biggie Smalls called himself. He owned Fat, Black, and Ugly. He flipped the power of those words, much like black people flip the word nigga.
Right,
You have this record, Black and Ugly.
right.
The record is about not fitting into sort of Western standards. That's how I took it. Western standards of beauty. How important is it for black artists, particularly black women artists, to publicly love our bodies and ourselves?
Man, it's so important because it's important for our community and for the children that are watching. You know what I mean? Like, if we start, you know, falling victim to trying to live up to a European standard of beauty, that is a false narrative for us. You know, we start to lose ourselves. You know what I mean? And that's where you you have problems with, I want to lighten my skin. I don't. There's times you have fun with your hair. Wear weave, color it every day.
You should
but
be able to do that.
When you don't want to wear the weave and you wear your natural, love that too.
That should be good too.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's showing that no, you are beautiful as you are. Everybody else want to look like you. So why not? People getting tan, people getting butt injections, lip injections, so love yourself. And especially for the kids that are watching, representation matters. I don't want my niece to grow up and look in the mirror and not love herself, and get lost in that. So that's what it's about. Just owning your own beauty and be like, who ugly? You ugly. I'm good over here. Right. That's what it was. Like Biggie, like you said, Biggie owned that. He became like a sex symbol. You know what I mean? But it's all in confidence and seeing it in yourself. You got to see it in yourself first before you can find it anywhere else. Nobody else can do it for you. So, it's just important for us to remember that, we are beautiful as we are. Our skin color is beautiful. All shades, dark and light skin. Because I know a lot of times, we as on the chocolate end, we like to say how hard we have it too. But our light skinned sisters have it hard as well. I was having this conversation with my hairdresser and she was like, I know dark skinned women have it hard, but I was called strawberry growing up. And, I didn't feel like, I belonged anywhere because I was so light skinned. So, on both ends, we got to just learn to love ourselves and each other. It's just important.
And stop with the light skin, dark skin crap when it's like you acting light skin. That is like my biggest pet peeve, and that's what I hope for 2020 that we get away from. Because as you said, all spectrums of the black rainbow have to deal with it, but it's specifically ones at either or, because the light skin, they're saying, oh, you're not black enough, or the dark, or you're too dark. And it's like, we're all black. We all are going through the same things at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's just another way to divide. At the end of the day, they're going to divide you over your complexion, over your language, your religion, your tribe. If you're in South Africa, can't divide you over nothing else. So it's like, oh, we could do it with tribes. Like you say, like we all black at the end of the day. So
that's right. We
all struggling in some way.
Man, Rap, this has been so beautiful. I saw you in a DoorDash commercial.
Oh yes,
love DoorDash.
I like
risotto,
DoorDash
fish roll, milkshake, cube steak, straight like that. I know every time that commercial runs because somebody tweets it to me, and I just know I'm caking right now.
Okay, word up.
I hope so. We'll see what the mailbox say.
Check it out.
Right, make a check every time.
Straight up.
Now you also kind of nice with The Rock.
Man, nah.
You're not nice.
I used to be. I done been in a couple celebrity games with no points. So I don't know if the community is gonna allow me to say I'm nice.
Okay.
But there was a time I was a killer.
Okay.
I'm gonna get back though.
What lessons do you take from basketball into music?
Oh man, basketball's taught me a lot.
Because you have a lot of basketball lyrics.
Oh yeah, work ethic for one. What you get in, you put out. Like they say, like muscle memory. Get in and shoot them free throws where you could do like Michael Jordan, close your eyes and just know that joint is going in. So, when I was playing basketball, a lot of times I was the first one to practice, last one to leave. So the varsity boys would practice right after us. I would stay in practice with them too. To get better, I would challenge myself by practicing against the best. So I love practicing against boys. You know what I mean? So I do the same thing in music. Like when I approach music, I'm like the first one to studio, the last one to leave. I'm spending the night. If I'm taking a song I did, I'm not comparing it to who's new or beside me. I'm comparing it to Jay and every other classic album. It's just like, where does it fit in that spectrum of music and lexicon? Like, where does it stand as legacy? And it's just like, you ain't there yet. You got to do more. You got to do better. Teamwork, especially being in jam, like how to be a leader, how to pull your teammates up, how to share the knowledge and wisdom. Like with Ruben, I'm always passing on. Nine pass it to me, I'm passing it to you. Like that's how it goes. We don't hold information. Right. We got to give information to each other.
Yes.
That's what it's about. Being a leader too. What that means. How do you step up for your team? How do you teach? How do you guide? Competitiveness. Boy. To compete, to never look at yourself, no matter how you might be facing a team that's undefeated. You gotta go in there like,
Right.
You know, if you get on a record with Kendrick Lamar, I love you, bro. I don't care about how many Grammys you got. Let's go. You know, and I'm sure he approaches everything that he does in the same way.
He did. He said he was the king of New York once. And named a bunch of rappers while he was saying.
That's right. That's
how
what
Kendrick approaches it.
Straight. That's how you supposed to do it. Like what? So it's all of those things. Like that's what I learned from basketball that I took into it. And to pray. Man. You pray before the game. You better pray every day.
No doubt. Well, I stated when we started this that I couldn't overstate your contribution to the culture. And I think you've given me the words that I couldn't find. Thank you for coming to the People's Party. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank
Rapsody.
you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.